Welcome back, guys, to another OGN Apex match review with Jamerson. We are on to map number 2 between AF Blue and X6 Gaming. Now, map number 2, it is going to be Hollywood on Oasis. We saw AF Blue take a very convincing 2-0 victory up against X6 Gaming. Now, Hollywood, though, a bit different because it is a hybrid map instead of a control point map. Now, AF Blue, they've shown, of course, they're no strangers to running that triple DPS dive. They've even shown that they can play a Sombra. We've seen Sombra used here in the North American scene for, prevalently by former Complexity, but I don't think that's something AF Blue is going to pull out. The interesting thing to note is that X6 Gaming really did have difficulty dealing with that composition, and they should know by now that AF Blue is going to run it. They tried a number of different team compositions that ultimately did not work out on Oasis to try and deal with that triple DPS dive. No one really has figured it out. So we'll see what they can do here. I mean, I kind of want to see a Torbjorn come out. Hell yeah. Never mind, it's going to be AF Blue starting off on the defensive end. So very far forward aggressively, but we need a healer. Yeah, one of them would be great. Recry is just gonna off heal with his E. Alright. And so now taking a look at the defensive composition coming out from AF Blue, it looks pretty darn standard. They're not running the dive because they are on the defensive end here. So Arhan is gonna be sticking with this with this Orisa. So we've seen teams do this before. Torbjorn sets up his turret, like let's say okay, so Torbjorn turret comes out here, and then the Orisa shield right in front of it, 900 health. Effectively, it makes the turret 1200 health, and that much more difficult to take out. During the entire time, of course, Torbjorn is just building up for the ultimate charge, so IDK, who generally plays Lucio for them, is going to build up that Molten Core that much quicker. Is just going to be very important for keeping Lucid alive. So that's why we're seeing Donghyun on this D.Va, just to offer a bit of extra peel for Lucid. Now, not sure if this is what they're going to stick with on the offensive end, coming out from X6 Gaming. Shoot it up. There it is. Okay. Alright. So they are going with the standard Korean dive composition, the 2-2-2. So Genji, Tracer, Winston, and D.Va. Now, I see teams not do this correctly, but I truly, wholeheartedly believe if you're running this composition that the Lucio needs to dive in there with them. It needs to be a penta dive. And then Bebe is just stuck out on his own. Gonna have a very difficult life. Luckily, there's no one to really dive him except for possibly Mono. But still, Bebe, if played properly, should be able to deal with the Winston on his own as a Zenyatta. This composition, though, is gonna really struggle to try and take out just the Orisa shield. That came out. No Smite jumped on to Recry. But where is everyone else? Chaehyeo been messed up his jump. He gets taken out. And then I love that they just like forget him and focus everyone else. Yeah. So it was just a botched execution coming out from X6 Gaming. So Winston jumps up. D.Va decides to fall back. Oh no, he gets pulled back. Okay, I missed that. And then he just gets messed up. So that was a great tool used by Arhan. Arhan essentially saved Recry himself with the halt. And then also, if we go back and take a look at what happened to Godsby, he was actually the focus of the turret. So Winston jumps up. Let's watch this again. No, Genji showed first. So Godsby got the immediate focus down and he had to back away to try and break the aggro of the turret. And so they just completely messed up the dive. So everything just went wrong for them in that dive. At this point, you go Reinhardt. They're not really diving on the side of AF Blue. You've already spotted that out. They've got an Orisa. You need a shield. The difficult thing about trying to play a Reinhardt into Orisa is that Orisa actually shreds the shield pretty quickly. It's kind of like a mini Bastion.
It is a lot. It's like a stupid amount of bullets. It's more bullets than you would need.
I'll see whether they're going to be utilizing the Halt there as well.
So instead, they're swapping off. They're no longer going for that dive composition. I don't completely agree with the composition they decided on. It's going to be triple tank. They're sticking with Chehyobin and No Smite. On Winston, what they have swapped off, it is going to be Godsby on 76, Time Boy on the Roadhog, and Bebe swapping off to Ana to give them that Soldier 76 and Ana synergy. Also can use it on the Winston. The problem here is that they're just going to have a difficult time just trying to even walk forward because they don't have that big ass rectangle to really, you know, soak up a lot of damage. And take a look, IDK is already sitting at 60, almost 70% towards his ultimate. So they're still going to have a difficult time just even trying to get in. This might just be a point A hold.
They change up a little bit here with Time Boy coming back over onto the Roadhog, but again, this is going to be triple tank coming through from them, so not opting in for the multiple DPS.
Okay.
This is what they do a whole lot of the time. Hybrid has been sort of triple tank for X6 almost every single time that we see them. Attack visor already built up here by Recry, and he's still just doing so much damage. Yeah, can have that nano visor.
Mech for mech.
Even shields available for everyone as well as his Tourbillon's been getting a lot of work done, but has lost his turret now as X6.
Both divas go down. Mono has received the nano boost. There we go. Yeah, they just had to use like so many tools just to try and get in, right? Because they don't have the Reinhardt shield. Take a look at what they have to commit just to try to get to the turret. So here we go. Already, Donghyun has already used up like a good third, maybe a half of his defense matrix on that diva. Defense matrix is already getting used up to try and block everything coming out from the diva. The next thing we're going to see is that the Winston comes down and drops down his bubble. Now, there we go. 2 of your defensive like skills, cooldowns already used just to try and trade away for a turret. That's a pretty good trade. That's a pretty good trade. And then from there, all AF Blue really needed to use was just their nano boost onto Mono, and then they cleaned up because, well, Donghyun and Chehyobin were both taking out their mechs. Again, X6, they need a Reinhardt. I think they could have done without Time Boy on the Hog, although he does, you know, deal a decent damage to the Orisa shield. There's no way. Lucid didn't even use it. I thought he did. Never mind. I'm a filthy liar. Oh wait, the boost does come out. I was just super far behind. Okay, let's go forward. So, no swap still.
He's going to have it back up and now has the Molten Core ready to go.
Yeah, this looks like practice range for Recry right now. This guy is just not really getting harassed. You can see finally Godsby gets a couple of bullets over the top of him, but no worries there at all. It's a Freak Freaks Blue with 4.
They're gonna try nano boosting Godsby, but
They do have that Molten Core, which
they still have to deal with Donghyun.
get through, especially with the protection that this turret has. They do
There you go. Again, they commit, you know, the barrier down onto it. Godsby's even dropping. Oh, they already lost this fight. Down barrier gets to come out from Gilly.
There's attack visor as well. It's even a kill with the self-destruct out of the Afrika Freaks Blue.
Yeah, double nano visor coming through, but X6 don't win out on the fight, and Gilly
Freaks Blue.
Oh, that was a good sleep dart. But take a look. In having to like try and deal with the Torbjorn turret, barriers on down, the Winston bubbles down, defense matrix was used mostly up. And so when Recry's tactical visor comes out, there's absolutely nothing to try and block it. Nothing. He's just getting free damage off onto everyone. They just kill everything. And X6 now running out of time. They have a minute 10 seconds left. And they still don't have a Reinhardt. They still don't have a Reinhardt. Luckily, they have 3 ultimates coming up, but they don't have the innate synergy to come out for it, right? No Smite could try and trade his Primal Rage for a solo kill onto someone, and Chehyobin could try, just a Miracle Diva self-destruct. The whole hog is going to be the most difficult thing to set up for X6 here.
So they are poised to just hold this one out.
Yeah, they're approaching it the exact same way again. Drop down the projected barrier. They take out the turret, but, I mean, it doesn't even matter at this point, because he doesn't have his Molten Core. He already used it in the last fight. Nano boost onto Winston, he just melts everybody. Now Recry almost goes down. Self-destruct only got the turret and the kill. Wow. Yeah, getting the Ana was pretty huge with that. They're keeping this live. Mono just needs to get topped off, and then they can come back in together. Oh, weird jump coming up from Mono. There we go. GG. Oh boy.
He gets jumped on.
Couldn't get to the barrier, so he does go down, but still, this is going to be a freak of freaks. They complete essentially that team wide coming through.
Like, what they should have done, if they wanted to try and make this work, let's go all the way back to the initial push, right? When they try to approach that thing again. They're very close to having the whole hog. What they could have just done is just speed boost the hog into the turret, and then just trade that. Like, just trade it that way. Don't use the projected barrier, or the berry coming up from Winston. That could have been used so much more effectively. And, like, they could have spent a few more seconds just letting the hog build up his turret, or build up his ultimate, but they didn't. Like, this is a pretty good composition coming out from AF Blue. There were answers, though, on the side of X6. They just didn't spot it out. So, there we go. AF Blue, they're on the verge of getting the second map here. Let's go forward. So, defensive side. Now they want to go for a Reinhardt. Oh, this pisses me off. Now they want to go for a Reinhardt, but they're about to go for a Reinhardt into a triple DPS dive comp. And I think I've gone to lengths about how much I hate Reinhardts in a triple DPS dive comp. No Smite is just going to have the worst game of his life. No Smite is just going to have the absolute worst game of his life. The defense matrix from Chehyobin's not going to be enough to try and mitigate the damage from the divers coming on in. Like, okay, we're going to have a rectangle here, and then all of a sudden, AF Blue, Tracer's going to be here, Genji's going to be here, and Winston's just going to be sitting right in front of me, tickling me down, and I'm going to die while I'm holding up my shield and doing nothing at all, not building up any ultimate. Like, this is one of the worst metas to be playing Reinhardt into. What would I rather have seen? If you're going to go for the Reinhardt, then maybe also go for Torbjorn. Something that he can, like, protect, but he's not protecting anyone with that shield. Like, as soon as he turns around, Recry is just going to have, like, free reign to do damage from wherever he pleases. There's no one on the side of X6 to really try and deal with him except for Chehyobin, but Chehyobin is going to be busy trying to protect Gilly, Godsby, No Smite, and Bebe.
To pick up another win and just take us to match point.
So if they can get...
Alright, well, X6, if they lose one tank right off the bat of this, this could very well just be a freak up freak.
They're going to lose No Smite first. He's going to be the first focus. So they haven't shown the Reinhardt yet. And they all try to go up top together. Get the first pick. But Arhan's found one himself. There's a second. Okay. Recry should have died. Alright. Cool.
time for regroup on the side of Freaks Blue. They just want to be building up these ultimates. Ahan, the Magician himself, already up to about 74%.
The Magician? Is that his nickname?
Guys that can build up that ultimate as quickly as this.
I mean, right now we can kind of just expect the Freaka to poke in. If they see a big opening, they get a big pick, they will just...
They're just trying to make sure they don't get caught out again like they did last time. Sound barrier already comes out? No, I thought I heard a sound barrier for some reason. It was a Dragon Blade.
So much of the DPS dead. He does get taken down as Nosmite just smacks him with the hammer. The Dongyun's still here. They've still got so much DPS available.
So X6 at least doing a good job of playing this composition into AF Blue, but 50%. Like I said, it's going to be difficult trying to play Reinhardt into this composition, but what they did was played a more active defense where they tried to engage upon them, but instead of just waiting back. But still, once again, Reinhardt, you're just holding up your shield and all the divers are just killing you. You have no one to protect. And that's just going to be really it. They're staggering in 1 by 1. Honestly, they at the time, they could have just regrouped and then come all in together. But it's point A. They needed to go with something a bit more difficult to break in terms of defense. And against that dive composition, if they had run the Orisa Torbjorn themselves, it would have worked. And it would have forced, you know, AF Blue to actually swap off too. But there you have it. So that's map number 2. X6 just not doing what they need to do. Like, we saw them make swaps. They just made the wrong swaps to try and deal with the Orisa Torb. They had to use a lot of their cooldowns. We saw the defense matrix was almost down to like a third, maybe a quarter, while they were just trying to make their approach onto it. And then they would go ahead and use the Winston barrier. And that would get used up when really you need that Winston barrier to soak up anything other than Torbjorn turret damage, as Recry was just being a beast on the defense there. So AF Blue now leading 2-0